You're good.
All right, hang on.
Hey!
Oh,
But
but
I feel like
wait.
we're on like replay.
It's that time. The Brightside Chronicles is about to go down with Kerri and Nana. You ready for the show to begin?
Hey, let's go. Let's get it. It's almost showtime. Let's go. Let's get it. It's almost go time. Let's freaking go.
What is
well, that ran it back.
poppin', everybody? After some technical difficulties, we do what we do best, which is pivot. I'm now downstairs. And today on episode 27 of the Brightside Chronicles with your host, Nana Ajaman, and hostess with the mostest, Kerri Lewis. We have two amazing guests. I'm very biased. One happens to be my twin sister, Ellen Ginding, and then another. When you tap in and you connect, you just tap in and connect. And Fidel and I met, and in 2 minutes flat, we were talking about everything and anything. And so I'm so happy to have both of you here. Thank you so much for joining.
I appreciate you guys for joining.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited. So
I
this,
love it.
this is
So
what I live for.
Let's go.
why'd we start the Brightside Chronicles?
So the Brightside Chronicles is an hour dedicated to talking about things that bring you joy, happiness, and just basically just shooting the stuff and catching up on life. It's a space that is meant for just being authentic and very sporadic because we don't go by a script or anything. We just do whatever is on the fly. And we're grateful to have both of you guys on here. So I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah, me too. I'll jump in, working in mental health and addiction recovery, and I know Ellen gets this as well. I really am passionate about the Brightside Chronicles because too often we hear fear-based negative narratives, and I think it's really important to highlight not only the positivity, but that tapping into joy, whatever form that looks like for an individual, and how that helps support healthy mental health and overcome and transmute addictions. So this is why I'm here and really passionate about the show. With that said, I'm going to just jump in. Ellen, what does joy mean for you? What does the word joy cultivate in you?
But first and foremost, let's get introductory though. We got to get introductory for
my
Elle
bad.
and also Fidel. So, go ahead, Elle. Go ahead. Tell us about yourself, please.
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm Ellen. I am in this forum, just me, living life. I wear many titles, but now I'm at home, so I just get to be Ellen.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Go ahead, Fidel. That's you too.
For me, my name is Fidel. That's Ellen too. I wear a lot of titles, like she said. I'm a father. I work. I'm a podcaster. I do it all. Everything. I love meeting new people. So once again, I'm happy to be here, guys.
I love it. So going back to the original question, and I mean, this is for either one of you and Nana as well. When you think about joy, what does that cultivate within you? What thoughts come up or feelings?
For me, go ahead.
Go ahead, Fidel. All you.
For me, when I think about joy, I'm big on family. So it's like me closing my eyes, and for some reason, it's like picturing, summertime cookout. Everybody's like, having a drink or like there's steak on the grill or hot dogs. And when you pause for a second and you look around and everybody's having a good time. That's joy to me. I don't know. That's what comes to my mind when I think joy.
Yeah. I think Kerri and I can appreciate that because we kind of created our own family, our own tribe. And so we have the Ginding tribe, which is a very mingled bunch of hooligans that live in a house together, and then we invite guests into our crazy little life. But family, but also just being free and I mean, when I'm not working and I'm not, you know, when I don't have a title, I'm very spontaneous. I do lots of random things to entertain myself. So it's not unlike me to get up on a Saturday morning and just take a drive, and wherever the car lands, that's where I go. Yeah. So joy is about having fun and not giving really two thoughts on what other people think, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like, as long as you are living your best life and having fun, who
Mm,
cares?
mm, 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 mm. Damn, really good answers with both of y'all, because like I love that y'all brought the element of family and just like the things that bring you happiness and things that nature. My sense of joy is damn, there's so many things. Like having good health is a sense of joy for me, because I know health is very important for the human body. Having family around
Well,
me.
Black Friday.
Oh my God, yeah. But
Black
like
Friday.
that's tomorrow. That's tomorrow. But like having like family around me, like especially being a part of you guys' family is amazing, because I have obviously my own family, but being a part of you guys being my basically this family I just grew into is just awesome, because y'all seen me like the happiness that you guys bring, whether we're at like a cookout like Fidel's talking about, or whether we're at scavenger hunt on Easter, which I really look forward to every year, because that thing's always fun as hell. So like, and I'm competitive as shit, so like it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, joy is just like this finding like happiness in moments, I mean, because it's just one of the little pockets of like it sprinkles through your monotony of your regular day on day, and then it's like, okay, well, this thing brought me a sense of happiness as the day went on. So yeah.
I love that. And shout out to all the viewers. If anybody has any questions or thoughts on joy, please feel free to add to the conversation. We're happy to bring your comments up on the chat. For me, joy is allowing the present moment to unfold without filter. And I've really had to cultivate that, because for so long, I felt I was either too loud or there was something wrong with me or whatever. So now, whatever I'm inspired to do in the moment, I really allow myself to do. And so being able to do that, to Ellen's point, and I can say that I think we both live this way pretty regularly, is we're free. I mean, I'm not chained to anybody's idea of me or what they think about me. I just show up, and that's how I roll. So, and it's important, because I think our true superpower is our own unique self. It's allowing ourselves to be who we are without being concerned with the fact that others may dislike me. So, so I'm curious, how do you guys, Fidel, you and I jumped in real quickly. I mean, we sat across from each other for one conversation, and we immediately went into mental health and the importance of men feeling their feelings and all this. And I know that the four of us collectively feel really strongly around, feeling our feelings. How do you attribute living a joy-filled life to maintaining a healthy mental health for you and inspiring others to do the same? Because I know that's something you're passionate about.
Yeah, definitely. I'm big on mental health, and it's because I feel like I grew up with a single mother, so I feel like being a man, that plays a big role. I guess more emotion, you know, around, and I never really knew how to control my emotions in a way, which it came from like anger or sadness. So growing up, and this is just recently too, I'm learning how to control my emotions, or how to express them somehow. Because it's good to express them somehow, some way. I don't know, write it down or go for a drive or whatever you do. Find a hobby. That's very important. So to be honest, I'm still in the learning process of that, which is way better where I was, and I'm happy to say that, and I could see the difference too, that controlling your emotions, how that benefits me. So
Mm.
so yeah,
We were
to answer your
talking
question, I'm
just
still learning. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
we all
him and I
are.
talked a little bit about how, Kerri will say, like, I'm an emotional person in the sense that I'm like very empathetic. I tap into people's feelings pretty well, but it's
Yes.
always been used as a weapon against me because I was
Mm.
emotional, and it was used in the military, in my career,
Yeah.
lost friendships, about me just being authentic and um, you know, sharing how I feel in every given
Yes.
moment. But I feel like it is such a gift to be able to give the world when you can express yourself and cry when you're happy, get tearful when you're
Mm. Mm.
sad. And I mean, I'm not a big crier, but like I definitely am passionate, which comes across to people as like threatening, but there's nothing wrong with it. And I think that emotion alone and being able to heal yourself and feel the
Mm.
feelings is so
Mm.
important, and it's so great to give to the world, because
Yes.
most people that are empathic or have like that kind of personality trait, really can tap into people that others can't, and really see the other
Ooh.
side of the coin, I guess.
Ooh.
Like,
Ooh. Ooh.
yeah.
Well,
No, I'm sorry.
No, no,
I
don't
just want to
worry.
say that was I like that you said that, it's very,
Yeah.
very important to feel like the mad, sad. And at the end of the day, we all gonna die, And
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, it's all memories. Me just thinking sometimes we're mad, and then years later we laugh about it. We're like, remember that day you were so pissed? And it's just like it's beautiful,
Well
So
said. I was gonna say, I mean, I've had emotions. Like, I'm very big about wearing my emotions on my sleeves. Like, if I'm like upset, I'm just gonna have to go through the motion of it. I mean,
Mm.
and if I'm, excited about something, I'm gonna go through the motions of it. Like, I remember one of the funniest moments was like, I remember I had a rough day at work, whatever, one of the days, and I just went in my car and I just cried because I was just like, I gotta get it out of my system. And I get it, machismo, like a big buff dude or whatever. Dude, I'm a human. I'm not a robot. Like, I'm gonna have my emotions, and I just let out my tears, and I was just like, okay, now I got to regather eventually, because that was just a moment that I had. And I think sometimes people just look at it as like, well, you can't do that because you're a man or whatever. And I'm like, that's so dumb. Like, you are human. Like, you're gonna have these challenging days. Like, it's just part of human nature. But got it out of my system in the sense of like, I flushed it out, and then I just reset and I said, okay, well, we've had that motion. Now how do we get better, and how do we just expand and just go through the next phase of life? You know what I mean? And it helped out, because if I bottled that in, it would have just festered, and then it would have been resentful over whatever had happened at work, and then I would have been like, not myself. You know what I mean? Instead of, it's like almost like a toilet. Like, you got to flush the shit down the drain, literally. So like, you can't just have it just pop up and hope the plunger is going to work eventually. So like, there's my analogy for the
I
day.
love that analogy.
yeah.
It's
That's
true.
the situation right there.
Well, so it's so interesting. I would be curious to hear. So, Nana, you and I have
Yeah.
been together for 5 years, and as long as we've been together, you've been really easily able to express the full range of your emotions, right? And I'm somebody who, I mean, I cry almost every day, if not
You
every
did
day.
yesterday. I remember that. That's
Oh yeah. Well, also because I
but it wasn't my
understand
fault.
that repressed emotion turns into not only mental health and addiction issues, but physical ailments. We're talking
Mm,
about autoimmune diseases,
mm.
cancers, all this different stuff. So,
Yeah.
and they're finding like The Body Keeps Score is a beautiful book for anybody who wants to know what not feeling your feelings does to your body. It's a beautiful book. But Fidel, you open up the topic to, you're really focusing on being more present with emotions now. I would be curious, what, if anything, if you want to share, was the catalyst to you kind of opening up to feeling your
Mm.
feelings? Because as Nana said, right, there still is this pervasive narrative that I think, like, Nana, is ridiculous, that, oh, you're a man, you can't
Yep.
feel your emotions, you need
Yep.
to have it all together. And then you look at why men are popping off and shooting up things and stuff. Well, because we've told them that they can't feel their feelings.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, 100%. And it's just me realizing that it's okay, as simple as that is, and realizing that, hey, this is you, and be like you guys said, be who you really are. And at the end of the day, is that's who I am. I am. I love my daughters. I'm very passionate about that, being a father. So it's like that's who I am. And if nobody likes it, that's okay because I like it. That's me. So so it's things like that that I'm starting to realize and taking control of life, that and sometimes it's even family. People, when family get involved and they don't like what you're doing, they'll
Mm,
set themselves down, or let their dreams go just because they don't like it. But at the end of the day, it's like you like it, go for it and go see how far you could take this thing. So
Mm.
that's where I am in life right now, even with like little things, even with my podcast. Like, not everybody's gonna like my podcast, but
shout
I
out.
like what I do. I love connecting with people like you guys right now, Um, even today, it was a last minute thing for me. I forgot about it, being totally honest. But I wouldn't change it for nothing now. I'm here sitting talking to you guys, and it's amazing.
We appreciate it.
So let me ask you this, going back to the idea of joy, because again, you know, Nan and I both live fully expressed. Like you, if I'm singing at the gym, Ellen will attest, or whatever. I really there's no filter, but in
No.
that, I feel really joy filled, and so I attract people. Like I at least 10 conversations with strangers at the Y today because I do cultivate joy. Um, what or how does, and this is a good question for Ellen because Ellen
Mm.
said she's very spontaneous. How does tapping into your spontaneity and just giving yourself permission to just go with the flow about whatever, how does that influence how you show up in the arena of your work world, because you have a high pressure job and all of that?
Um, it's a little different at work, but I can say that the people in my life that so well, you guys all know Gretchen, my BFF.
Yes.
So she is a very structured person, right? Like she'll have a list about a list and like set alarms to remind her about alarms, and I am so not that person. And so I feel like through my free spirit, she's kind of adopted some of that and has been able to seek out adventures that she may not have even realized that
Mm.
she could have been on. Like, seriously, one day on like a Friday after work, we're like, we're driving to New Hampshire. And we ended up at like a bear show and like some weird
What?
Manny was there too. But like stuff like just random that you wouldn't even realize that you would even have experienced in life. But I mean, I think that she's also given me a little bit more structure in my
Mm.
planning and stuff because I'm not like that. And you would think in being in the military and stuff, I would be like this like typical A personality, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I am way too. I think Kerri and I learned a long time ago that in order not to be disappointed, you need to take reins of your own adventures.
Mm.
And so through that, we both have done that. And for instance, we have always planned our own birthday parties since forever because we were disappointed. Like we never had like the opportunity to like or we were promised something and it was taken back. And so
Mm.
then we were like, screw it. Like one year we were supposed to go to New York. We got wicked disappointed. We pulled out and we planned our own trip to Martha's Vineyard. And we went there and like we ended up in like some karaoke bar.
Oh
What?
God, I was so trash that day. So remember, I was singing Johnny Cash's "It's the Most Depressing Song," and the,
Yes.
and the DJ goes to me, "Way to be a joy kill." I'm like,
Well, I was trying to rap.
Um,
The reason I love that you brought that up because so Kerri and I, right? I'm the structure person, which is the funny thing. I like to set things up like, yo, babe, let's do this day, like da da. And she's like, oh, babe, let's do this. And I'm like, let's see. But you know what? It's funny. Some of our best adventures have been the ones that we just don't plan, which I realized like I remember one of the times, babe, was it what mountain were we climbing? Was it Mount
oh God,
Washington?
we got lost on Washington.
Yeah. So she's like, oh, you want to go like what is it? What is it, mountain climbing? Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Hiking,
hiking.
whatever, that thing. And so she's like, yo, let's go hiking. And I was like, sure, I guess. Let's go do it up. So we went and then we got lost. We couldn't find our car. And that was like one of our first, like, what was that like one of our first like outside adventures?
Yeah, that's probably why we haven't had many more since. None of us like.
No, I'm getting bit up. That's what it is. I'm getting bit up every time we go out there. But like, but it was funny because like we couldn't find the car for what almost like 40 minutes, and I remember just being like, "Damn, this is tough." Like, and then Kerri was like, "We'll find it," and I was like, "I guess we're just gonna follow her lead," because we ended up finding the car, thankfully. But it was just one of those moments where it was a spontaneous like adventure out of nowhere. Like it wasn't like I guess it showed that like you can structure things in life, but it's not always scripted that way too. You know what I mean? So
I also want to highlight for the listening audience, and this is something I really am passionate about. If you think about an oak tree versus a palm tree, which one is going to stand in a hurricane? It's going to be the palm. Why? Because the palm bends. It goes with the flow. And that's the reality. Like when you're thinking about having a joy-filled life, a lot of people, they are so rigid and structured that the minute something shows up differently or changes, they immediately get stuck in this mentality of, to what Ellen
Anxiety.
said, disappointed, anxiety, whatever. But as you teach yourself, the reality is if I do this, I just change. So life is about change. And being able to be open to that change really does afford you the ability to have more joyful moments. Like if Ellen and Gretchen weren't, hey, let's jump in a car, they wouldn't have gone to a beer show.
That's so crazy.
So
I mean, that's just a little example.
oh, I know.
Oh wait, there's more. And I'm like,
but Fidel, so you having two beautiful daughters who I've had the privilege to squeeze on many occasions, and one of your daughters is just a great talker. She could be a wonderful podcast host for sure.
I actually, I did an episode with her this week.
That's fire.
How does being a parent to young children, right? One going into kindergarten, I believe, and one just learning to walk, allow you to learn to be a little bit more flexible and go with the flow?
That's a great question. I feel like it's tough. I always take it to deeper ends when it comes to conversations like this, and it's because
I'm a deep one. So
when it comes to my kid, I sit back and think, and it makes me think of my childhood. I had a great mother, but she was busy working. Trying to, because she was a single mother, trying to put food on the table. So it makes me think, of how like everything I wish I had, like my kids have. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like I show up for them at school. If they have something going on, I'm gonna show up. And I remember me being young at my baseball games, looking at the bleachers, and nobody was there for me. And and so it just like it just makes me feel grateful that I could be there. I don't know. I just, like I said, I just get, and there's feelings where it's like I can't even explain it because it's like it's something I wish I had. Then and not pointing fingers at nobody. It's just it didn't happen. But it makes me more grateful now that I could be part of somebody. These little kids, that, they're just learning how to do this thing we call life. And at the end of the day, I'm gonna play a big factor in their life. And it's even the little things. Everything matters. You might not think it does, but it's like the little things they remember. And so I'm great. I'm grateful that the man above made me a father. So it's like, yeah.
And I must say, you have quite an amazing wife. You
Oh
know,
yeah,
Ellen
yeah. That's
and
a
I selfishly know solely. She does great hair, by the way, people.
yeah. No,
Shout
that's a
out.
blessing. That's a blessing.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, I love your daughters. They're beautiful. And interestingly enough, Fidel, you know, how what 7 years ago, 6 years ago, Ellen and Manny afforded me the ability to be more present in my daughters' lives because
Mhm.
prior to that, I was working 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. at times, climbing the corporate ladder with this idea that my worth was derived through success. And as a result, there was a huge disconnect with my children. And, you know, in some regards, Ellen and Manny were huge role models from the time they were babies. Both my kids consider them their second parents, and I like really feel strongly that they deserve that title. But it is true that there's such a part of my joy is being able to sit across and be present with my children as they navigate life, particularly being teenagers. That's some of the greatest joy I have. And it is by the grace of Ellen and Manny and God that I'm able to be present now to do that. So thank you for sharing. That means a lot.
Real shit. Real shit. I mean, I just like the whole talking about like being a father figure piece to the little ones. You know what I mean? Because I feel like a lot of, I mean, even with myself growing up, I had my dad, but like he's just there, I guess. And mom, and this is not to disrespect dad or whatever, but like mom literally was like kind of like the one that was kind of keeping us afloat in the sense of like she would make sure like we're good with food. She still does it even to this day. Like I'll be at the gym and she's like, "Oh, when are you coming home?" Like, "Mom, I'm literally 36. Like I'm gonna be at home when I get home."
Hey,
But
that's a blessing. That's a blessing.
you know what I mean? So I look at it, I'm like, you know what? Is this her just checking in? And that's okay. Like I understand that's just like her way of just like showing love or even making food. Her love language is making food. That's like I come home and I'm
Mhm.
grateful to have something to eat. Like I came home, there's plantains and beans. I'm like, yep, I just got out the gym, so I got to refuel now. So like it helped out really well. But I think having the figures like you were talking about, like playing like a hero in a sense to your daughters, is amazing because a lot of people sadly never had that as a childhood growing up, and it's not to belittle anyone. It's just letting the little ones know that there's another avenue of different role model. It's the same thing with our daughters. I mean, Billy and Jules are like they're their own unique individuals. But if they have to talk to me about something, I'm grateful when they reach out to me or vice versa. And I try to make time whenever I can with them, even if it's just sitting down and playing cards with them or like just picking them up from their dad's house or whatever it is. Like it's cool. You have that bond with them, and you just keep fostering that bond with them as well too.
Yeah, and back to
Yeah, and
the.
I think,
Go ahead.
Oh,
yeah.
Go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think that, going back to mental health, right? When you have your kids and you're in a good place, but also like the relationships that you have, there's so many lessons that we teach that are not through words or action, but like what we tolerate in life. And so, I've been blessed enough to have a great husband, right? But also I'm able to teach, or even through Manny, like he teaches my nieces, my granddaughter, my daughter, like what it is to be loved. And he doesn't even need to give them like a verbal talking to. Like he
Mm-hmm.
just shows up and you don't expect anything less than what you know. And a lot of people that struggle or are in really toxic relationships are because they don't know anything different and they don't know their own worth, that they should be treated in a specific way. And so I think it brings me joy to see like the people in my life, my kids, my nieces, my 8-year-old granddaughter who's a little sassy, right? But they're gonna be strong, independent people in their life and set boundaries and rules for themselves and set the tone for how they're treated in life. And that to me brings me joy because it means that even without telling them directly, they were able to be shown how to be in a safe relationship and how to be loved, I guess, which
Awesome.
we don't all have.
Yes. my God.
Yeah, no, and I like the part that you said, just playing cards. I know sometimes back to the little things.
Yep.
We don't even a compliment to a stranger that could change somebody's whole day, So it's the little things that, are not so little. And that's the irony of it, that we say the little things, but at the end of the day, you never know what somebody's going through, and the
Yes.
little things add up.
Well, when we think about wealth, right? I identify joy and wealth with material things. I had this idea that I didn't go to college, I didn't finish high school, so if I could prove my worth, I could have the nice things. And sure, I had a lot of nice things, but to your point, Fidel, and what Ellen and Nana, you guys said, you know, my greatest wealth is being able to look at you in your eyes right now, Fidel, and see the sparkle in them, the excitement of being alive, and to be able to have this conversation. It is being able to look at somebody at the gym who is out of their element and say, hey, you're doing an amazing job, and just
Mm.
taking that moment. And so often, and I can only speak for me, when I was caught up in like the humdrum of performing for expectation rather than just showing up as myself, I wasn't even present to be able to offer that gift and receive the benefits of offering that gift back to me. And so that's why it's super important for me to continue to show up and work to be really present, because in that I know that I am able
Mm.
to cultivate joy, not just for myself, but impart it into other people's lives too. And the second thing I'll add to what Ellen was saying is embodiment. I'm really big about embodying. Like, our children, talk is cheap. And I mean, I have another show where I pop off all the time about our and mental health addiction, because we have a lot of people talking about what other people need to do, but they don't do it themselves. And so
Mm.
by showing up and being that example, by exemplifying that work, by Nana always going to the gym, Ellen going to the gym, always reading books to learn new things, being open to have a tough conversation. We are role modeling that behavior to not just our children, but other people. And we're giving other people permission to show up differently from what they may have known in the past.
Mm. Whew. I mean, I was gonna say, just to switch avenues, like, so a big thing that I've been realizing with a lot of people is a lot of people don't manifest as much, right? And this is not to belittle people or anything like that, but I just want to throw out there the question, like, how do you guys manifest that sense of happiness? Like, what are things that you've manifested that brought you happiness, whether within, the years of life or things of that nature? Like, what is something that you've manifested that almost kind of like took you away and made you think like, man, I really put that out there and it came to fruition? I don't know. I got y'all thinking, right?
No, I just want to say if somebody's gonna speak first. I don't want to keep
Nah,
jumping in.
y'all both got to
Jump
say.
in. Listen,
We just
none
talk.
of us are going to be butthurt. We'll just
Yeah, no, that's
Good.
another thing. It's weird. That's another thing in my life right now that over the last couple of months I'm starting to figure out that manifestation is real.
It is, yo.
Yeah, it's so real, and having
It
a
is.
vision, having the vision too it's real. You just gotta, put it to, and you have to put some work in it. I know a lot of people just wanna just say, it's gonna come, but you're sitting in the couch. Nothing's gonna come like that. You gotta meet it halfway. But yeah, no, it's 100% real, and it's weird because it's like I've been doing it since I was a little kid. I just never realized it.
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
until you get older, you're like, I was thinking about that, and it's just little things, and until they happen, you're like, oh snap, this is real. So
Woo.
well. So, babe, I got to jump in
No,
here
no, no.
because
Hold on, hold on. We got. I was waiting for Al. I was waiting for Al.
I know. Al, what do you got to say?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So for the listening audience, this is what I really need you to understand. We're always manifesting. Our brain creates our reality. So your subconscious and your beliefs are going to create your external circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where most people aren't aware, because none of us were taught this. I wasn't taught this, right? I was brought up and I bore witness to a mindset that was a lower negative energy, not good or bad, right or wrong, right? We
Just what you
exist
do.
positive and negative energies. That's what makes up the universe, right? And then you can stay in a positive mindset, which will produce a positive experience, or a negative. And just because of, even in the United States, culture, society, family experiences. It could be a teacher calling me fat at school or comparing me to Ellen, anything. I made up stories and cultivated a life that was created in lack and stuff. And so for me, I really need people to understand you're manifesting your life all the time. You never have not manifested your life. It's just that when you look at your life, do you like what it is you're creating? And if you don't, then the work really lies, and this is where you spot on, Fidel, and examining your own thoughts, patterns, and behaviors. So that way you can make a different choice, because a lot of people aren't even aware. They don't even realize that, they could be in a great mood. They get a phone call and all of a sudden they start popping off about how their day's going to unfold. And so when they start to become aware of that, they make different choices. So yeah, I am very, very firm in that. And also, to your point, Fidel, I have a huge vision, and I always encourage people, dream big, because I've had on my vision board, be a global motivational speaker, meet Oprah, write a book, which I'm already doing right now, all these things. Like 15 years ago, when I was drinking 2 bottles of wine in my bedroom with my ex-husband, and things have started to shift. I was just asked to do a speaking engagement. So it's just being clear on what it is you want, and then not wavering when the evidence doesn't provide itself right away, so that you can keep chasing that dream.
I love it. And also remember, people, guys, whoever's listening or whoever sees that the tongue has power. So if you keep telling yourself, all these negative things are gonna keep happening, and it sounds crazy, but it's that simple. Change those thoughts to positive, and little by little, it's positive things starts happening. And back to the little things, they add up. So when you look back, you're like, wow, this is what my life has become. And as those little steps became, now you're who knows, across states, and it's a beautiful thing to see. So it just, change your mindset and just become more positive. Even with, like, you got a flat tire, it's okay. Change the tire. It might suck. I'm not saying it's gonna feel good. I'm not gonna say it feels good, but it's like, okay, just change it. At least you didn't get in a car accident. Let's change it. Let's get back on the road. And there's things like that.
Well, Nan and I, we were in New York, and our elevators went down, and we had to walk up and down flights of steps, right? And don't get me wrong, Nan and I both had moments where we were like, no. But then we made a choice, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just be in gratitude. So the entire time I walked up and down these steps, I thanked each one of my toes. I thanked my ankle. I thanked my calf. I thanked myself for working out enough that we could help other people with their luggage walking down. And you're right. It's all about shifting perspective and deciding, at the end of the day, we create the energy we're in. So if it feels icky, just shift your perspective. And the words that I really despise when I hear people say is, I can't, I shouldn't, I couldn't, I wouldn't, because all of that limits them. The minute you say you can't, you're right, you can't. And you will never be able to until you change the way you talk to yourself about what you can and cannot do. So with that being said, Elle, you've been quiet. You've told yourself you can a lot of times. So Ellen, for the listening audience, can I just put a little bit of business out there? Not like too much.
I don't care.
So my twin sister was a young mom. She got pregnant when she was in high school. And despite, the odds being against her and her facing a lot of adversity from our parents and what they understood at the time, and having to move in with Manny's family, she was able to finish high school. And then she worked while putting herself through college. Oh, evidently Ellen doesn't want to hear about herself, but we'll keep going.
No, you're good. You're good.
So Ellen is a really good example of somebody who continued to show up and say, I can, because, having 2 kids at a young age, society says, oh, well, you're never going to be successful. And
totally wrong.
opposite is true. Ellen was able to not only become a nurse she's a chief nursing officer. She served in the Army. She went to Afghanistan. And now she really exemplifies what it's like to say I can instead of I can't. So I guess the question for you, Ellen, after I sang your praises while you jumped off, because be able to have
I don't know what I did, but
this is why it's not scripted. This is go with the flow.
What led you to have the mindset of you can? Like, because you've always like jumped in and chased after what you wanted from a young age. So was there a specific book, or did you just kind of not have a choice, or what was that lens for you?
that I can.
You can.
Well, first of all, when somebody says that I can't, that's fuel for my soul to tell them, F you, I'm going to do. And I think that's honestly what set my fire, because there was a lot of I can't, you'll fail, you're going to do bad, you're never going to be anything. All the negative stuff that I was fed. And so that to me was always a way to say I can do anything that I want to do. It doesn't matter what people, what limitations and boundaries put on me. I will always expand upon my own boundaries and try new things. And I don't let fear get in my way. I think that's a big thing, is fear holds you back from so many things. And at the end of the day, if you let fear become handcuffs, you're never going to experience life. And so to me, I just always have lived in, I'm not going to be fearful. I'm just going to go for whatever it is that I'm going to go all in. And if I fail, I fail.
I love that.
There's this quote by Kobe Bryant. He used the quote, everything negative, I think it was everything negative, I use it as a weapon or something of that nature. But it's just like any doubts that people had about him, him being like who he was as a player, it was just more fuel to the fire. And I love that mentality, because that's literally what you're just talking about. Like people saying, oh, well, you're, a mom at a quote unquote too early age. Okay, great. I'm still going to figure out my kid's life. I'm going to figure out my life. Nana, you're not the best salesperson. Oh, well, great. Now you put a chip in my shoulder. Now I got to actually prove to myself that I can do this, or even like, Fidel, mom was a single mom. You had to figure this shit out. Well, now I've become a successful person in life. And then even Kerri, I didn't complete high school. Great. Now you have your own business. Wow. Well, how did that happen? Like you put it out there, you put all these things out there and you train your mind to really tell yourself that you can do these things, because there's so many times like, even with myself, I kind of like tell myself like, is this possible? Is it doable? But then I know that it is. It's just, it might take a little bit more extra work to get to that point. But that's with anything in life when it comes down to it. Like if you really want something, you can push for these aspirations that you have in mind, and you can manifest these things to happen too. So yeah.
Yeah. And when me and Fidel, actually, when I was on Fidel's podcast, we talked about mentorship, right? And mentors are anything from like people you see on TV, but really for me, it's always been like the strong women that have been in my life and have given me opportunity to like shine. And so like through my career, but even my life, like I may not have all the people in my life that I once had, but everybody has shared a purpose. And everybody has taught me a lesson and has given me opportunity to become who I am today, even, things that didn't end well. And so I think that finding people who believe in you, especially when you don't have a foundation of belief, is a starting point. And so I would also say, I was lucky enough to find even back in high school, like teachers that believed in me. And along the line, I started, getting jobs, bosses that believed in me. And then you slowly start to believe in yourself and as well. So it's not even just like the fear, it's like finding the people that allow yourself to be brave enough to go after things that you might not necessarily go after.
Woo, 100%. So I mean, there's two things that come to mind, right? Is one, shout out to our mother, we adopted her, Rosa, and our
Shout out.
mother who gave birth to us because it's both their birthdays.
Oh,
But
yeah.
Oh shoot.
I think that the reality is that Ellen, you married into a family that is so loving. Like they just, I mean, we're all messy individuals, but they show up and they just wrap you in love. And I know because I learned family through Manny's family. I learned like that unconditional love. They'd be like, "Yo, Kerri, you crazy," but they would still be like, "Oh, you coming over to rice and beans?" I'm like, "Yes, yes, I am. Thank you so much." But secondly, to that point is 100% I agree with you is everything I've done because I had the support system of Ellen and Manny in the beginning. And then throughout my years, other people, you, Nana. I mean, I'll never forget the time I looked at Nana. And I tell this a lot because it means so much to me. I'm like, so we just started dating. I'm like, I'm gonna leave all my assets and everything. I'm gonna take on all this debt and this, and I'm gonna quit my secure job and start a business. So like, I'm thousands of dollars in debt. I don't have a job. I'm building a business. I live in my sister's dining room, I think, or maybe we lived here. And he looked at me. He's like, "Oh, well, that's cool. We gonna go eat dinner now?" And I was like, "This is my person." He didn't even blink. He's like, "Do you, babe? I don't care if that makes you happy." And I do think that it is really, really important to have that strong foundation. And I would be curious, Fidel, because I know Soli, who seems like, I mean, you guys have a really tight bond. How has having a strong support system for you helped you kind of continue on this journey of curiosity to show up fully expressed as yourself and do the things that bring you joy, like starting a podcast and doing things that make you happy?
Oh yeah, that's having a partner that's that believes in you and is supportive. It plays a big factor in life. And it's like Ellen was saying in my podcast, it's never gonna be 50-50, So you're gonna have down days, and if you have that partner that could pick you up and they know when you're down, then you're there's no way you're gonna lose in life. Um, and it's so, yeah, like I said, she's a blessing, because and I appreciate her so much because she's always there for me, and then as the man, we gotta as a human being, you gotta know that what you bring to the table too, so never downplay yourself, just because give yourself credit, because I like to say I'm pretty damn good,
As you should. As you should.
yeah. So
Well, that leads me to, I'll be curious to hear what you guys have to think. So I love this because I was talking to an individual the other day and I told them, I was like, "Oh no, I know I'm a queen." And he was like, "Egomaniac much?" And I'm like, no, 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 no. See, here's the difference. I was like, the difference between me and an egomaniac is I know my worth alongside of everybody else's worth. I don't think I'm better than the homeless man on the street, and I don't think I'm less than the most richest person in the world. I'm equal to the task of all of them. The difference is I know that and you don't. And I think that is a huge part of cultivating joy. And I think it's where a lot of people's lights are so dimmed is in and I know in my upbringing, if you thought you were good or you were the bee's knees, you were like prideful or or braggadocious or thought you were better than anybody else. And so I think in our society, unwittingly, we have squashed people's idea that they can know how freaking amazing they are. So I would be curious to hear you guys' thoughts on how that lands with you and what you would tell other people in terms of knowing their own worth and how that can add to how they experience life.
I just want to say, between you guys, a lot of people, everybody looks different, everybody is different, but
Yes.
you guys are all badass people,
You are
and
too.
it's And it's I told Ellen the other day. I told Ellen the other day, just by her being on my podcast, I was like, there's things that I didn't know, and I was like, I would never think that just
Yeah.
by looking at you, and that's what we do as a society, just look at people and judge them. But I'm like, you're an amazing person, and and even Nana, I never met him personally, but I know of him.
Brad.
They say his energy's high, selling cars,
Yo, man.
doing what he loves, and I'm like, that's a badass person.
Yeah, I appreciate you. I'm blushing over here. Can't see it because I'm black. Anyhow.
Yeah. And and then last time I met Kerri, just the energy was there. And then knowing that you did that and left the job that was secure and followed your dreams. Come on, man. That's badass to me. And those are people that that I look up to without even you realizing that I look up to you guys.
Appreciate you.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna jump in real quick, and here's the thing: I have so much admiration for you, Fidel, because anybody who shows up and says, "Yeah, I'm still learning, and I'm willing to show up and show my emotion," that to me is the greatest gift you can give to the world. Because not only are you impacting yourself and your family, but we're energy and we are collective consciousness, and you were showing up in love for myself, for Nana, for Ellen. So I have just as much equal admiration for you. And I'm just saying, I'm ready to be on your podcast.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's 100%.
I'd be curious to hear what Ellen and Nana have to say about that idea of, like, I know my worth. I will not play small. Like, I think of Marianne Williamson's quote, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. We ask ourselves, who am I to be this, that, or other? The bigger question is, who are you not? Because you are created in creation, co-creating with creation. So that's where I stand. But I'd be curious to hear what you have to say, Ellie.
So, I mean, I'm a pretty humble person. I don't like to talk about myself that much.
Talk your shit, Al. Talk your shit.
Yes, singer praises.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll talk about my story, but like my whatever, but I know my worth because I know how to set boundaries for myself to make myself happy. I know how to show up for other people, and just by allowing certain situations and people in my life to treat me the way that I need to be treated, like that to me is showing people your worth, because you shouldn't settle for anything less than what you deserve. And you don't have to be verbal about it. I know that I try every single day to be a good person. At the end of the day, if I can look in the mirror and know that my intentions are well intended, even if I didn't come across in a way that I intended to, if I know that I come from a place of good, at the end of the day, I don't give a shit about whatever everybody else says. I mean, once in a while, I'll self-question, but if my motivation is one of pure-heartedness and people just misinterpret or misperceive how I'm putting myself out into the world, I can't change how other people think. I just know where my roots come from. And I think just by doing that and showing that to other people is how I, show my worth.
Oh, damn. How do I go after that? That's crazy. So showing my worth. I don't know. I think I like to just say that I bring a lot of just energy. Like, I'm very like high energy, joyful. Like, I'm normally in a very good space of mind. Just because like I'll wake up in the morning, watch something funny, and it sets like the tone for the day. Kerri's seen it numerous times. That she's like, "What's so funny?" I'm like, "I'm just watching memes," which is funny as shit to me. But it starts my day off because
Manny does the same thing.
Yes.
Manny sends me hilarious stuff.
Yes, and it starts the day off because I want to set myself up to be like, okay, like this is how I want to handle the day, and knowing your welfare is a good thing because. Perfect example. I showed up. What was it? I think this was Sunday or something like that. Or no, it might have been Monday. So I wore Winnie the Pooh to the Woodstock Fair, whatever it is, and it was funny as shit because seeing people's reactions, just that always makes me happy and it brings a sense of joy, right? So the next day I'm like, okay, well, babe, I gotta go to the gym. So I was like, I don't want to go home and change. So I just wore the same outfit to the gym, worked out in the Winnie the Pooh outfit. Some guy comes up to me, he's like, so like you don't feel like that's weird? You just wearing out the gym? I said, no, not even. And he was like, you don't think anybody's gonna judge you? I said, I don't care what people are gonna say about me. I'm just me. You either accept it and just keep moving, or you don't like it, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. But he was just like kind of just trying to like make it seem like it was a bad thing for me to wear a cosplay. And I'm like, dude, I'm living my life. He's like, you wear that to the store. I was like, yeah, I'll go buy bananas in it. Like Winnie the Pooh forgot his honey or whatever. But like knowing your worth wise is like going in there with a sense of confidence about yourself because you know what you bring to the table, whether you're at your occupation or you're at home. You know, you walk into the room and you just have that energy about you that people will like, oh, this person knows their stuff. You know what I mean? And so like you can be the most successful person or the most not so successful person, quote unquote, whatever that is. But you, as long as you know your worth and you're confident in yourself, you're able to just do the things that you enjoy. I mean, I'm a buff dude wearing dresses. That doesn't make any sense. But who's gonna say shit to a buff dude that's wearing a dress? That's the funny part, right? So like, what are you gonna tell me? Oh, that's a bad dress. Great. I go home and I sleep well at night knowing that I brought some sense of happiness and joy to somebody else. So
do you know what I love is that none of us conform, and that to me is it's so easy to like sway to a different side of thinking. And I think that also shows your worth is because regardless of people's agreements or not, like we just show up authentically like us, and we don't have to shift the way that we are to like fit in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, it's so interesting because Ellen and I were at the gym one day and we're in a cycling class, and this woman was loud and proud and boisterous, and she was
loved her.
at each other. And I'm like, yo, she's my people. And the reason why is like, no, you know, I think that people inhibit their ability to experience joy because they're so concerned with the good opinion of another person that they filter themselves in situations. And when you get comfortable enough to just allow yourself to show up and let the things unfold, it's going to land where it is, you know, it is so freeing. You know, there's just this level of freedom. But even more importantly, not only does that impress upon ourselves our worth, again, and this is my big thing, it gives other people permission to potentially do something different. And I will say, being with Nana for 5 years, right, I have seen a lot of his friends who started out timid, who I met him, and they might like, you know, they'll dress up at a con. Now I see them showing up, you know, outside doing things, and it's because they are surrounded by other people who give them permission to just show up and be seen. And that's reality, guys. Liddell, you nailed it. Like, there's 8 billion different people in this world, which means there's 8 billion different perspectives. There's nothing right or wrong, good or bad. It's just what feels good for you. And as we wrap up this show, what I would encourage people to do, and I'm going to ask each of you guys to share something too, is give yourselves permission to find what brings you joy and do it, even if it makes no sense. It's banana, it's showing up as Winnie the Pooh. For me, it's skulls. If you come into any space, skulls everywhere.
You wouldn't have on your shirt, but anyhow,
like on my arm, like I love it.
You just have a flex. That's what it was.
I worked for these days. Speaking of, you got skulls. I manifested skulls. It's so cool. Okay, with that, guys, as we wind down, is there one thought that you would like to share with the listening audience around joy, or just anything you would hope to impart on somebody that either was meaningful to you or that might serve them in cultivating more joy in their own life?
Just find fun, whatever that looks like for you. Like at the end of the day, laughing, having fun, experiences. You don't have to have money to have fun. You don't have to be under the influence of substances to have fun. You could have fun. I mean, I have laughed so hard in like just the silliest of times. And it's so important and it's so good for your spirit.
100%.
I'm just gonna say back to the little things. You know, the little things are not so little just because we call them the little things. You know, once in a while, sit back and think about what do you consider little things, and you'll see that they're bigger than you think.
Mm.
Damn. I mean, I'm just gonna first and foremost, I'm gonna shout out to Anime New Jersey for having me as a content creator in your amazing
Talk about manifestation, baby.
event. I'm just super thrilled to be able to bring my energy to people and have people see who I am as a person, whether I'm in cosplay or outside cosplay. You know, it's a blessing to be a part of this whole thing called life and enjoying the moment. So thank you. And thank you for having you guys on here as well, too. Freaking amazing conversation.
Thank you
It
guys.
was. So Fidel,
We're gonna tap in.
I really
I'll message you right
back.
after.
You're welcome any Thursday when you're not busy being a dad and you just want to chop it up. You have the same for you, El. You know,
Yes.
you know, for the listening audience, my greatest gift is a connection with Ellen. It's something that we've had since our womb, but it's cultivated in different ways. And so this means the world to me. And I really appreciate you showing up.
Yeah.
Thank you for everybody who joined, commented. Please share, like, and check us out next week for episode 28 of the Brightside Chronicles. Until then, find ways to find joy because it's in joy that you become